As you can see, my olives are pretty ripe and really big as well. So although there was no rain all summer, they kind of recovered quite well with the rain that just, fell in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, they're doing really well. And this tree especially, it's a really small one as you could see, but still the olives look really good, and they might be also the ones that you usually use to put in a brine or to pickle. So I will do exactly that. I will use them now and pick them and then put them in a brine, a saltwater brine. And that's the first step of the process of getting them ready to be pickled. So yeah, I'll pick those for now. The other trees are almost getting ready as well. Some of them are already really ripe. Some other ones are really green still. So we'll wait a few more weeks, and then with a whole group of people, we will each go on each other's quintas and collect the olives and bring them to the olive oil press, which is really exciting. It's the first time I will do it. But for now, I will tackle this tree, get all the olives down and put them in a brine. Let's go. Look at that! And that's just maybe a third of the tree. So much more to pick. And imagine, this is a really small tree compared to the other ones. So just imagine how much more olives the other trees will give me. It's fantastic. It's just Mother Nature. Amazing. So I can barely hold what I have collected from this tree. This tree alone, to keep in mind. So, and there's still some olives left, which, it's just too much to pick and to pickle. And I think this is just a great first portion to start off with. And I think for me that would be enough to eat, but of course I want to give away some of the pickles olives at the end of the year. So yes, I think I will collect more from the other trees. But this one is just an amazing harvest. Look at that! So now that I have my olives, all that you have to do is kind of sort through the olives just to find out. Some of them might have, some holes and stuff, so you kind of want to get rid of them because they might, spoil the other ones. Also, like, remove all of the branches that are still attached maybe to it. And then all you have to do is rinse it a couple of times just with water, and then to put it into a container with salt and water, like a salt brine, and leave that for 3 days, 2 to 3 days, and then repeat that process of rinsing and adding fresh water with salt. That step basically just helps to get the bitterness out of an olive. So if you ever been crazy enough to try an olive just straight from the tree, you will notice it's bitter as crazy. So in order to get rid of that bitterness, that's the process you will have to do. Of course, also the next steps are really important after that to, give it the real delicious taste. But that's a really important first step. Some people like also to crush up the olives just to get rid of that bitterness even quicker, or even some of them remove the pits straight away. So there are different ways how to do it. I like it. I tried this last year on another farm and was really happy with the results. It worked quite well. So yeah, the first 2 to 3 weeks, it's more about, just giving them a good rinse every 3 days with that salt brine, and then on to the next step. Alrighty, let's sort through those babies. But how should I do this? Like this? Like this? Also already paid attention when picking the olives that I don't pick, the ones that have holes or look smushed up. This one looks like a apple, like a Granny Smith apple. Look at this. Weird looking shape. Good morning! I'll take you along on the entire day of picking, as well as going to the olive press to see how the process is there and, you know, the olive oil that I get from it. So yeah, pretty exciting. And yeah, let's see what the day brings. To pick and collect the olives, we start by rolling out some nets and placing them around the tree so that when we start hitting the tree with our sticks, that they all fly into and on those nets. Yeah. Going in the tree? Good. And then it's a pretty easy process to collect them after that, just by rolling back the nets and, you know, gathering all the olives. Once we have the olives all in one side, then we try to take out as many sticks and leaves as possible without going too crazy, because at the Lagar, which I am going to show you later, there's a machine that, you know, collects out the leaves from the olives, but it's a fun process to sit together in a group setting and just do it as a, you know, fun little project together. Really fun. Okay, ready? I don't know how to do this. It did not work.
More or less. You want to have a second try?
No.
No?
1 million clicks. I can see it.
So the reason why all those olives are on this pile is because I ran out of bags where to put them in and to then bring them to the oil press. So that's the second load we've collected yesterday. The first load is already in 10 plus something bags. So it's quite a big harvest. Obviously in there are still some leaves, which are going to be taken out at the press. Well, they have an extra machine where you can put your olives in and they, you know, and the leaves kind of fly out of it. And you're left with beautiful olives. Some of them are affected by a disease, so they're not any good, but to take them out individually would just take a very long time. So people here leave them in and it still goes through the press. Yeah, it's optional, of course, how much time you want to put into your olive harvest and the expectations you have for your olive oil. For me, it's the first year, so I'm pretty pleased with the results already. And there's also a difference in taste depending on how ripe your olive is. So the greener the olive, the more spicy and cleaner I feel like the taste gets. And the more ripened, maybe this one is even more ripe, so a really dark color and almost soft to the touch. This gives a really intense olive flavor, actually, like almost like you're tasting olives. So it depends a bit on what you want, but also what the tree has to offer. Obviously, one tree will never have just green or just black olive. It's a ripening process from a green to black olive. So yeah, it's just about to kind of pick the right time to pick. It's been an amazing sunny day yesterday. We had a lot of fun and it was such a great first experience. So yeah, lots to learn still for the next one. And yeah, we did it as a group and we will go to each other's quintas to collect each other's olives. So that's a fun collective project. It's way more fun this way and way more easier. So yeah, I will put those olives now into those bags and then drive to the olive press. I will show you a bit behind the scenes how, you know, everything is done over there. And I'm very pleased to taste my own olive oil then. Hello Jack, come here. Warum? Jack wants to say, oh my god, crazy olive boy. Ooh, little olive man. My little olive man. No? Yeah, he's been a good helper yesterday. Little olive boy.
So we receive the olives here and weigh here in the scale. We put the olives in these types of crates. They weigh 36 kilo each. Each one is numbered, and they can carry around 400 or 500 kilos of olives. Then we will store them here, where they wait their turn to be processed. At this time, we have around, it doesn't seem like such, but we have around 50 tons here waiting to be processed in the lagar. And then we will take the crates to the lagar. Okay. We take the crates and we put them in the lavadouro where they are cleaned. And then we have the transportation belt that will take the olives into the mill where the olives are crushed. Sometimes we receive children from school visiting us, and they always ask us, how do you take the pit of out of the olives? We don't. They're all crushed. And then as they are crushed, it forms like a paste. We call it massa de azeitona. It forms like a paste. After that, that paste goes directly into the, we call it in Portuguese, batedeiras, like giant mixers where we put water again. What they do, they try to make the paste as smooth as possible, so that in the next step, where we do the separation of the liquid part and the solid part, to be easier to do that separation. That separation is done in our big decanter. It was we call it in Portuguese decanter. I don't know the name in English. That's all the machines are important, but that's probably the most important because, like I said, it does the separation of the solid part and the liquid part. So the solid part is the bagaço de azeitona. It goes outside, and the liquid part, we have the water used in the mixers and the water present in the olives goes outside also. And then we have the olive oil. The olive oil at this point is not I will say clean, not in the sense that it's dirty, but is not with that translucid color like we used to know. So it goes into the centrifugas. We have two. What they do is like they spin the oil to expel everything that's still present, solid parts that are still present in the oil. And we put water again. The water and the oil won't mix, but the water will retain everything that is expelled from that process. And then it goes through the two centrifugas that we have and goes directly into the container where the amount of liters produced. So my colleague, in the end, when the olive oil is ready, he will receive the paper and then you'll write down how much it produced, and the paper comes back to me and I inform the person to come and get the oil. Today we are hoping to send 2 loads, about 25 tons each. So this is a lot. This is a leftover of the process. We don't use it as it is now. We send it to some factories that they will dry it up. They can extract a small percentage of oil and we will bring it back dry, and all our heating system in the Lagar, we use this as a fuel. We try to reuse as much as possible. This is we called Águas Russas. We have 2 lagoons where we collect all the water. This is the water from the olives, the water that we used to wash them, and the water that we use during the process of separation of the oil. As it is right now, we can't use it. We have to let it settle for a few months. It will form like a type of mud on the bottom. The rest of the water, as soon as it doesn't have that mud, it's very good, and we use it to irrigate our olive trees. The mud, it's the only thing we can't reuse at the moment. There's a company that comes and collect. They do some treatment, I think chemical treatment, and I think they use it to do fertilizing, I think. But as it is, it's very acidic, so it has to have some treatment to be used.
So that was quite the impressive tour. If you ever get the chance to visit a olive oil press, please go ahead. It's really interesting, and every press is really different as well, so it's worth to check one out. So now that we've seen the whole process, it's now time to check out my own olive oil. Here we go. From the almost 500 kilograms of olives, I've got now 46 liters of beautiful olive oil. My first own bottle of olive oil. Isn't it nice? I'm proud. What an incredible experience this week was. My first own batch of olive oil. I still can't quite believe it. Next week I will show you, among other things, what I did to continue the pickling process of my olives. So thanks for tuning in this week, and see you next time. Bye!